Gary Burghoff was an absolute delight. He brought that great charm to radar. The teddy bear, the cuddliness, the naivete.
Secrets still hiding in the swamp. Even after 4 decades, MASH keeps springing surprises on anyone brave enough to peek behind the canvas walls. Get ready, because the next few minutes will pull back that tent flap and show you the wild stories the camera never caught. Most viewers have no idea that the show grew from a 1968 book titled MASH, a novel about 3 Army doctors. The author was Dr. H. Richard Hornberger, writing as Richard Hooker with help from WC Hines. Hornberger poured his own Korean War memories into every joke and every grim surgery scene. That sharp mix of gallows humor and hard truth gave the TV team a rock-solid base. By centering on 3 Army surgeons, the tale balanced funny chaos with raw sorrow, proving that war can crack you up while it tears you down. Larry Gelbart had fled Hollywood for quiet London, sick of showbiz headaches. Yet one phone call yanked him straight back. CBS wanted a pilot, and Gelbart hammered out in only 48 hours. The speed was lightning, the quality was gold, and the network dropped $25,000 into his pocket. When the pilot aired on September 17, 1972, viewers instantly felt the perfect blend of quick wit and deep feeling. Gelbart's breakneck draft set the pulse for everything that followed. McLean Stevenson begged to play Hawkeye, yet the scrappy role went Alan Alda. Comic Robert Klein could have been Trapper John, but walked away, clearing a path for Wayne Rogers. Rogers refused any formal contract, meaning he could vanish whenever the mood struck. That loophole spooked producers and co-stars alike, and after just 3 seasons, he did exactly that. His exit forced the writers to shuffle characters on the fly, proving that fragile deals can shake even the strongest unit. Maxwell Klinger was meant for a single gag, and then goodbye. Writers first toyed with making him pretend to be gay to snag a discharge, echoing a wild-tale comedian Lenny Bruce once told. Network nerves twitched, so they pivoted, dressing Klinger in outrageous gowns while insisting he was straight. Jamie Farr's fearless spin on the plan hit viewers like fireworks. What started as one quick joke exploded into a fan-favorite hero whose daring wardrobe became a weekly event. Alan Alda served in the Army Reserve, and Jamie Farr wore an actual U.S. uniform before chasing acting dreams. Those first-hand memories of chow lines, strict schedules, and dark humor seeped right into their performances. Alda's Hawkeye could crack a joke while steadying a wounded soldier's hand because he had seen that tension for real. Farr's Klinger mixed desperation with clever rule bending because he knew how real troops sometimes bend orders just to stay sane. Larry Gelbart and producer Gene Reynolds hated the idea of a laugh track. They believed fake chuckles would drown the mix of comedy and combat stress. CBS dug in its heels, declaring every 30-minute show needed that rhythmic giggle noise. The creative team fought, argued, and finally reached a shaky compromise. They lowered the volume and erased the track during operating room scenes, a daring move that kept viewers from smirking while surgeons fought to keep patients alive. The laugh track war was just the beginning. MASH never stopped shaking things up behind the cameras, and every new revelation makes the swamp feel even hotter. Producers finally hammered out a truce with CBS. No laugh track could invade the tent's operating tent. That silent choice let every scalpel slice it harder. As seasons rolled on, the canned chuckles faded more and more until season 11 ditched them for good. Viewers in the United Kingdom got an even starker version because the BBC ripped out every single laugh burst, turning MASH into a pure dramedy that stunned late-night audiences. Guest stars shimmered through the camp like flash bulbs. Teenage Ron Howard marched in as an eager Marine, balancing bright-eyed honor with raw fear. Stoic Leslie Nielsen, years before his spoof fame, proved he could swing heavy drama with a single icy glare. Patrick Swayze, yes, before the dance moves, played a soldier staring down a brutal diagnosis, matching toughness with heartbreaking grace. The writers sprinkled personal spark into the main cast too. Mike Farrell's family man BJ proudly named his daughter Erin on screen because Farrell's real daughter shares that name. Harry Morgan's Colonel Potter kept a framed photo of the good colonel's wife on his desk, and that loving face belonged to Morgan's real spouse. Those secret nods glued TV fiction to real life in ways viewers never guessed. Scripts kept landing back on the writer's table covered in actor complaints. Fed up yet clever, Ken Levine and the team plotted payback. They rewrote scenes that forced the cast to wear thick winter parkas under a blistering Malibu sun that sizzled near 100 degrees. Sweat poured, tempers flared, and the point slammed home. After that broiling punishment, line changes slowed to a trickle because nobody wanted another heatstroke rehearsal. Alan Alda guarded the legacy of Hawkeye with a single battered hat. That same cap first sat on Donald Sutherland's head in the 1970 film, then bounced straight into the series opener, quietly stitching movie and show into one long story. Radar's tiny teddy bear became even more legendary. The cuddly prop symbolized innocence among shell bursts, yet disappeared after the finale, sparking wild fan theories. Years later, it reemerged in an auction, and Gary Burghoff snapped it up, bringing the little fellow home to his original owner. What a circle. Season 6 dropped 4 Marine patients into triage, each named after a star from the 1977 California Angels. Season 7 repeated the trick with the 1978 Los Angeles Dodgers roster. Sports-savvy viewers cheered, while casual fans never knew. Goodbye Radar packed one more inside wink. Radar's sweetheart answered to Patty Haven, a gentle nod to writer Ken Levine's former girlfriend, locking a private memory inside one of the show's most emotional farewells. Episode 15 of Season 1, Tuttle, shows Radar grinning over Captain Savage Issue 10. Trouble is that comic hit newsstands in 1969, well after the Korean armistice. Then Season 11's give and take lets Klingers share a chocolate bar with a wounded North Korean soldier. Flip the wrapper, and a bold UPC barcode glows on camera, even though barcodes did not invade grocery aisles until 1976. These tiny slip-ups act like time machines sneaking modern trinkets into a 1950s war zone, and most viewers never blink. Here's a jaw-dropper. The Korean War dragged on for 3 tense years, 1 month and 2 days. MASH, on the other hand, aired for 11 full years, tripling the conflict it dramatized. From September 1972 until February 1983, the surgeons of the 4777 kept patching up soldiers long after real guns quieted. That record run carved MASH into television history forever. 11 seasons that rewrote the rules of war stories. MASH stretched far past the real Korean conflict, and that extra time turned the show into a bold mirror, reflecting every scar war can leave on a human soul. The writers never saw those extra years as a mistake. They grabbed the chance to dive deeper into the cost of combat and the wild mix of laughter and heartbreak it sparks. By the middle seasons, MASH was far more than a simple battlefield comedy or drama. It became a sharp platform blending satire, dark humor, and raw emotion that spoke to viewers wrestling with Vietnam-era questions about duty, psychology, and pain. Alan Alda guided that transformation like a steady surgeon. He and his team used a long run to track shifting politics through the 70s and early 80s. That freedom let them bend the timeline and shine a harsher light on universal issues like wasted lives, haunted memories, and the tug of conscience against strict orders. Because the show could breathe season after season, viewers watched every character grow beyond uniforms into people with complex hopes and fears. MASH showed how friendships harden under fire and how wry jokes can keep a heartbeat steady when bombs fall. The blend of slapstick and sharp social critique kept the camp alive in national debates long after real guns fell silent. Its presence during the uneasy years after Vietnam gave the series a seat at every kitchen table where war and peace were argued. Episodes dropped jokes and gut punches in equal measure, making MASH part of the cultural pulse. Season 10 opens with showbiz and drops a perfectly ironic blooper. On film sets, actors land on T-shaped floor marks so cameras can lock focus, but those guides should stay invisible to the viewer. During Father Mulcahy's tearful farewell to Sarah, the camera pulls back, and there they are, white and black T-shapes shining through the dirt. One mark even pops up when he bumps into Nurse Kelly, kicking dust aside. That tiny slip yanks the audience out of Korea for a moment and lets everyone peek at the nuts and bolts of television magic. Alda was never just Hawkeye. He co-wrote and directed 31 episodes, shaping tone, pacing, and heart with a surgeon physician. His efforts paid off in history-making style. Alda became the first person to score Emmy wins for acting, writing, and directing on the same series. With that kind of creative clout, he pushed scripts that tackled morals, trauma, and stubborn hope. On set, he coaxed fearless performances and built a haven where guest stars could shine before rocketing to fame. His steady leadership kept the tightrope balance between belly laughs and gut-twisting drama all the way to the record-breaking finale. Episode 6 of Season 10 centers on mixed messages, yet hides its own silent glitch. During a rush to read a fresh newspaper, a background stranger strolls through the shot, dressed nothing like a 50s soldier. He stands half-hidden by a signpost, clearly belonging to the modern crew, not the story world. That quick cameo from reality slips past most eyes, but once spotted, it becomes another delightful reminder that even the best oil production can miss a beat. A record-smashing finale, off-screen tension, and one final bombshell. As the curtain closed on MASH, the secrets kept piling up. From hygiene goofs to million-dollar commercials, and one actor nearly hit by a flying chair. It all ends with a bang. On February 28, 1983, the nation stood still. Over 77% of American TV viewers tuned in to watch the final episode of MASH. Goodbye, farewell, and amen. That's more than the Super Bowl that same year. The special ran 2.5 hours and closed the book on 11 emotional seasons. Storylines were wrapped, tears were shed, and the series delivered a farewell that balanced heartbreak with humor. But it wasn't just powerful, it was expensive. While a regular 30-second ad during a typical MASH episode cost about $30,000, advertisers shelled out a jaw-dropping $450,000 for a single slot during the finale. That price hike showed just how massive the audience was and how badly brands wanted in. The finale didn't just mark the end of the show. It became a cultural event, leaving a deep mark on American television forever. In the final episode, the lead surgeon Hawkeye Pierce makes a shocking mistake that no real doctor ever would, right after finishing one surgery. Frank Burns calls him over, but instead of washing up, Hawkeye plunges his bloody hands into another patient's abdomen. No gloves, no cleaning, no hesitation. It's a major break from medical reality. While the scene moved quickly, this obvious mistake slipped past crew. It's one of those rare moments where the story's speed steamrolled over realism. Thankfully, no real patients were harmed. It's fiction after all. But the moment stands as a surprising slip in a show that usually nailed the details. MASH was lightning in a bottle. But could that spark carry into other shows? Producers tried 3 times to find out. The first and most successful was Trapper John, M.D., which ran from 1979 to 1986. It followed Trapper years after war, now working in a San Francisco hospital. But here's the twist. Wayne Rogers didn't return for the role. Instead, another actor stepped in, and the show held its own for 7 seasons. Next came After MASH, featuring Colonel Potter Klinger and Father Mulcahy working in a Missouri Veterans Hospital. The idea had heart, but it couldn't compete with rising hits like The Fact of Life, and it was canceled after 2 seasons. The third attempt was Walter, a pilot about Radar O'Reilly becoming a police officer after losing his farm and his wife. It aired just once, in only 2 U.S. time zones, and quietly disappeared. None of these follow-ups could match the original's legacy. In the second-to-last episode, As Time Goes By, the characters buried a time capsule under the set at Fox Ranch. Just 2 months later, the land was sold. During construction, a worker stumbled upon the real buried box. Not sure what to do, the man contacted Alan Alda. His advice? Keep it. Alda saw it as a piece of history, but later joked that the worker didn't seem very excited about the discovery. To MASH fans, though, it was a priceless artifact that symbolized everything the show stood for: connection, hope, and memory. Radar O'Reilly might have been sweet on screen, but behind the camera, actor Gary Burghoff sparked major drama. Wayne Rogers, who played Trapper John, once got so furious that he threw a chair at Burghoff. That scene was detailed in a 1983 biography of Alan Alda. Their tension brewed from clashing personalities and heated creative differences during long shooting days. But Rogers wasn't alone. McLean Stevenson, who played Colonel Henry Blake, describe his bond with Burghoff as a love-hate relationship. He admitted, "Sometimes I was a problem for him, and he sometimes was a problem for me. It wasn't always smooth, but it wasn't always hostile either." Still, the most serious friction came from Alan Alda himself. As the face and force of the show, Alda reportedly felt Burghoff was distant and difficult. Burghoff, on the other hand, believed he was being pushed aside and underappreciated. That resentment brewed over time and sometimes exploded into cold silence or sharp words on set. Despite the conflict, the cast stayed professional in front of the cameras. But this behind-the-scenes tension proves that even the most beloved shows have cracks hiding under the surface. Thanks for watching. If this story grabbed your attention, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And check out the next video on your screen. It's packed with twists you won't believe.